This is music, and this is a fact. There is no end in sight. Welcome to another First Impressions video. In these videos, I share with you my first impressions of the many blind buys I've picked up lately. I have a good stack of CDs to talk about, so let's get down to business. Up first, Hardcore Veterans. Propane, this is no end in sight. Their style is deeply rooted in the hardcore scene, but I would also say it's partially rooted in the thrash metal scene too. The kind of predecessor band was the Crumbsuckers, and they themselves crossed over from kind of dirty hardcore into almost technical in places, crossover thrash. And then after that, this band was formed, and they embrace a heavier, groovier style of hardcore with thrash metal elements too. And you have that all over the place in this one. This is a groove fest, but you also have a bunch of melodic, very accessible, sing-along friendly punk songs. I wouldn't call it pop punk, but they are very melodic and very catchy. So I actually quite like that. It's a riff fest, very heavy guitar tone, very heavy riffs, but uh, you also have some melodic and accessible stuff. The vocals might be off-putting to some people. They are a little bit macho, but it's not too much. It's not ridiculous. And it does kind of fit that kind of heavy and groovy music quite well. Now, Propane's style has been very consistent throughout the years. Heavy, groovy, but also accessible, memorable, catchy. And then you have some thrash metal always looming in the background. And you get that on this one here, Shreds of Dignity. This one is leans much more though into the groovy side of things, but you do have some catchy stuff for sure. But this is another just all out groove fest. Quite heavy guitar tone, goes well with the groovy riffs for sure. Very enjoyable. Like I said, a very consistent band in their style. So this one here is also heavy, groovy with thrash metal, popping in every now and then. Some melodic songs too. Great stuff. Heavy guitar tone. Uh, Quite heavy album too. And no surprise, because the next one is also a Propane album. Round six. Heavy, groovy, memorable. A little bit of melody every now and then. Some thrash metal. You guessed it. We have that on this one too. Very enjoyable. And yes, his one too, Propane, Prophets of Doom, heavy, groovy, hardcore, thrash metal, lurking in the background, some melodic, catchy songs too, a riff fest. So yeah, Propane, very consistent in their style. That's I think one of the reasons why people like Propane quite a lot. Um, but also quite groovy. So I would say if you like your groove metal, if you like your groovy heavy hardcore, Propane is a band that's worth checking out. Although they don't really reinvent themselves from album to album, I will say that it does strike me as being the case that their style gets more and more metallic as the years go by. By the way, if you can hear weird background noise, I'm shooting this video with my window open, so there's noise from the street and all that stuff. I think that's perfect for hardcore, isn't it? Street noise. Anyways, excellent stuff. Up next, something quite different, Saberwolf, Mala Muerte, HM2 death metal. So this means that you have that buzzsaw guitar tone, you have the old school riffs, you have the crust punk discharge inspired things that pop up every now and then. You also have maybe more than you would expect. Kind of black metal styled tremolo picking. Now, if you go back and listen to the sort of early Entombed albums and stuff, there's a little bit of kind of black metal, um, reminiscent tremolo picking going on. But on this one, I would say it's probably inspired by black metal, which is probably not the case of early HM2 death metal. So, but this is great stuff. If you like your HM2 death metal, it's worth checking out. And if you like black metal, on top of that, there's some bonus stuff for you here. Up next, something quite different again, maybe. Slaughter the Giant, and this one is called Depravity. Um, you would be expected or forgiven to expect this to be deathcore, because the logo kind of looks like a deathcore logo, and the band name could be a deathcore band name, but they're described as a Melodeath band on the hype sticker here. And you definitely have some worship of late 90s Melodeath, like At the Gates, Dark Tranquility, all that stuff that was going on in the late 90s and early 2000s before the genre got watered down. There's a lot of that going on here, but there's also quite a lot of kind of blackened death metal going on, which I appreciate. It makes it a little bit more unique in a way, if you know what I mean. So I quite enjoy this one. I have to give it some more spins for sure, but I quite enjoy, uh, the good old school Melodeath, and that mixed in with some black metal sounding stuff. So pretty good stuff actually. And now some filthy, dirty, nasty, horrible death metal. This one here, Misanthropologie by the Danish band Undergang, not Undergang or whatever. Say it with me, Undergang. Why? Because in Danish, we don't like consonants. There's a song on here called Tvangsfodret Pigtråd, which means force-fed barbed wire, and that's why we say Undergang. Because in Denmark, we eat barbed wire, so we're not able to pronounce as many consonants. No, whatever. So this is somewhere in between Symphonies of Sickness era Carcass and Autopsy. It has a quite Carcassian guitar tone, but you have those heavy Autopsy styled riffs. And I think it's quite good stuff, really enjoyable. The vocals are very guttural, and they're just on the border of being burpy. As some of you know, I don't really like burpy death metal vocals. So that's why I have to hand in my death metal fan club card now. That's why I don't really enjoy Demilich that much. But these guys, although it is borderline burpy, it's never over the top burpy. So I kind of got used to it after a couple of songs. But yeah, heavy, nasty, dirty, semi slow death metal with the lyrics in Danish. There's this one here too. Aldrig i livet, also Undergang i Some Barbed Wire, and you'll be able to pronounce that correctly. Um, Same style, but this one has a little bit more kind of up-tempo stuff going on, a little bit more like energy, if you know what I mean. And the vocals are not as burpy. But other than that, a pretty consistent band in their style as well, just like Propane. Obviously, a very different style, if you know what I mean. But yeah, some nasty death metal there. So there you go. I liked all of the albums that I checked out this time, and that's always nice. Um, do check out Propane if you like your groovy, heavy, hardcore. And if you want to be able to speak Danish, eat some barbed wire and listen to Undergang. Thanks for watching.